Hey, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to Life Mastery Decoded for women and women entrepreneurs, where I help you decode the struggles in your life in the areas of health, wealth, and relationships with mind mastery and meditation tools and techniques so that you can live the life that you're proud of. Welcome to today's podcast. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's podcast where I hope I find you having pure happiness in your work environment. If you are not happy in your work environment, then it is my intention that today you find some nugget of inspiration towards your transformation in your career. Because today we're going to be talking about dealing with difficult people or bullies at work. Let me start today's podcast with a story. Amy is a receptionist, or she's like an office manager at a dental office. And she had a person that was working with her at the office. So the front of them, the front of them, the back of them, the side of them, all ran the front office. Okay, so this is when all the people come in to set their appointments. They were scheduling. They were the front desk people at the office. God, why did that take me so long to explain that? Anyway, the other lady that worked with her was having some trouble with one of the hygienists, I think, that worked with the actual dentist. So they didn't work closely, but they work enough, that they interact with each other enough that it was causing this problem. The two of them completely butt heads. And this one lady, the one that worked upstairs, was like a bully to her. And Amy suggested that maybe the friend lady at the front counter worked with, God, this story is not going very well, that her partner downstairs said, why don't you coach with Jen? She might have some ideas to help you, right? So we're coaching and we're talking about what's going on and what's happening in the office and what is bothering you and why is it bothering you, and trying to uncover some of the blocks that she has. And we start talking about the job itself, and she's pretty happy there, but this whole engagement, this whole relationship that she has with this other lady that works upstairs that's bullying her and picking on her and gossiping about her, she's like, it's making me not want to come to work. Well, of course it's not. I mean, what a crappy environment, right? This girl, you have no idea what's going on. Like, she's like, I don't even know what happened. Like, all of a sudden she just doesn't like me. And I'm like, okay. I said, but you and Amy get along really, really well. And I think that it would be wise for you guys, instead of you, person A, this person with Amy, instead of you constantly focusing on how much of a bully this other lady is and how crappy she is and whatever, I said, you guys focus on creating the best environment between the two of you. So I've already talked to you, listener. I've already talked to you about the vibrational scale from 0 to 10, right? And I said, when you come to work and you're there and this is going on, I said, what number are you? And she's like, oh, easily, I'm like a 2. She goes, and if we have a bad engagement where there's like almost a heated argument, she's like, I'm a 0. She goes, and I hate it. I hate that it happens. And I have no idea what I've done to cause this kind of hate towards me in my work environment. And I said, okay. I said, but you get along well with Amy. And she's like, oh yeah, she's a doll. I love working with her. She's funny. She's got great stories. She's very positive. And Amy she's very positive. She's very supportive, and she's a wonderful, wonderful, kind person. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for the two of them to build their relationship, but also to continue to raise the numbers, to raise the vibrational energy in their space. So there's not very many steps that go up to the second floor. I mean, theoretically it is a second floor, but it's only like 7 or 8 steps. And they're down in this office space kind of by themselves. And then patients would walk in and they would check them in and do whatever. And then they would let the hygienist know. And then the hygienist would come down and get the patient and go back upstairs with the patient, right? So the engagement was not huge, but obviously they have to communicate with each other because they're dealing with the patients and, what are we doing with this patient and how am I billing them and whatever. So I said, here's the thing. We're going to start working with energy. And because you two get along so well, it is going to be up to the two of you to continue to raise the vibration. And this woman is like, okay, like what is that going to do? And I said, listen, if you raise the vibration, there's only one of 3 things that could happen. One is that if you're a 6, let's say it's the energy is a 2. Remember, the law of attraction says like attracts like. If you're a 2, then you're attracting other like incidences that match a 2. Okay. So if I'm asking you to raise your numbers throughout the day, ask each other what your number is, and then ask, what can I do to get it to the next number? I'm a 3. What can I do to get to a 4? Tell each other some funny story that happened, or share something funny. I mean, you're talking about people and patience, and then, you have kids and whatever. There's always something funny you can do. Make it a 4. Okay. Now make it a 5. Now just keep going and engaging with each other and raising each other's numbers. I said, what you're going to end up doing energetically is creating like this big bubble of wonderful energy. And she's like, okay, well, what's the purpose of that? I said, well, one, it's going to raise your vibration. And here's one of 3 things is going to happen. She's going to come downstairs and the engagement is not going to matter to you because you're number 6 and she's a 2. She'll ask for something or do something and it'll be basically a neutral interaction. Okay. 2, she comes down and her numbers raise. So now she's not a 2, she's a 4. And now the interactions are better. Are you following me? Or the third thing that could happen is if she can't come into alignment with those numbers, she's going to leave. And she goes, and the worker, the partner, Amy's partner, because I don't want to say anybody's names, but she's like, well, she's never going to leave. And I said, but she could leave. And she goes, yeah, but she's never going to. I said, but she could. It is possible. And she goes, well, yeah, but she's never going to. I said, listen, you have to be open to the idea of things changing or things don't change. And she's like, okay. I said, are you guys held there by gunpoint? She's like, well, no. And I said, you never know, something could happen. She could totally leave. She goes, well, she's not going to. I said, is she married? Yes, she has a husband. I said, could he not get a job in Arizona? Well, yeah, I suppose. Could she not become, I don't know, bored with this job and decide she's going to go work in landscaping design instead? Because maybe that's her purpose. And she goes, yeah, I guess. So she could leave. Because what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to get her to think of the possibilities of this thing changing. Because remember, in the art of allowing, you have to be open. If you're not open, things don't change. Okay? You have to be open. So I said, it could happen though, right? She goes, yeah, I guess it could. I said, then listen, you just be open to the idea that either it's going to fall on deaf ears, her interaction is just going to be neutral to you, it's not going to mean anything, or she's going to come up in numbers, which means your guys' interactions would become somewhat positive, or she's going to leave. And she's like, okay, I'll try it. I said, all you have to do is try it. You just have to be open to the idea and all you have to do is try it. And she's like, okay. So then I tell Amy and I said, listen, your job is just to keep asking her, what's your number right now? How can we make it bigger? How can we make the number go up, right? Okay, how's your number? So I would check in with them, every other day. I would check in with Amy when she got home from work. How did it go? How was the day? How was the interaction with the girl upstairs? She goes, yeah, it was nothing. She goes, it's getting better and better. And I'm like, okay. I said, is the interaction getting better? Like, do you think that the girl upstairs, her numbers are getting better? She's like, well, no. She goes, they're not. She's like, but it's kind of falling on deaf ears. Like, she's feeling better about coming to work and her numbers are high. I'm like, perfect. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. 6 weeks later, I get a phone call and Amy is calling me from work and I answer the phone and there's a whole bunch of screaming on the other end and they're laughing and screaming and I can't understand diddly squat. And I'm laughing along with them because it's just kind of like this joyous laughing, whatever. And I'm like, dude, what the heck? And I have no idea what they're talking about or what they're screaming about. Finally, I'm like, Amy, I'm like, what? And she's like, she left. I said, what are you talking about? And she goes and tells me the girl's name. She goes, she quit this morning. She's gone. And I'm like, oh my God, and of course, here's my forever quote that I say, I'm going to start selling t-shirts. This shit works. And shit, S-H-Y-T-E. I just spell it a little bit different because it just has a little bit more potency to it. And so we're all laughing and we're all cheering and stuff. And then we kind of debrief it. And I'm like, listen, you guys did it. You were able to basically push out the negative energy because it can't be in there if the energy is higher. If the energy is a 10, number one energy can't get in Do you guys understand the importance of that? Do you understand the gravity when we talk about energy? You guys think, God, energy is just it's just this thing. Nobody can see it. Nobody would have, but you can feel it. When you walk into a room where the couple's been fighting, can you not feel the tension? You can feel it physically in your body. When you walk into a room, like what about when a really, really lovely couple is getting married? Do you not feel the joy? You get goosebumps, your heart's beating faster, you have a smile on your face, you get tears behind your eyes, even if you know that, gosh, in 10 years they're going to get a divorce. At the wedding, there's joy, and you can feel it. You can physically feel it in your body. So this is what you do. If you are dealing with difficult people, these are the 3 things that I do that just make my life so much easier when I'm dealing with difficult people. And I may be dealing with difficult people because they might be on my staff, or they might be someone who I'm directly working with, or they might just be a quick engagement. It could be somebody at a grocery store who's having a really crappy day, or it could be, my waitress, or it could be a coworker, or it could, somebody. But so we're talking about, you can use this if you're working with people that are just jerks. Just like this lady who worked upstairs. She was just a jerk. Nobody has any idea why, but she was starting rumors. She was completely bullying Amy's partner downstairs. And nobody has any idea, picking on her. These are adult women. You guys, you guys are not 7th grade girls. Get it together. What are you doing? Right? It was ridiculous. But here's what I would do. The very, very first thing that I do, and it gives me a perspective shift, is be grateful that they're not your relative. So if I'm working with someone who is just a jerk, they're a bully, they're negative, they're like, holy crap, I got to work with this person again. I'm thankful that you're not my dad. You're not my uncle. You're not my brother. You're not my sister. You're not my girlfriend. You're not right? I have no other interactions with you forever and ever other than at work. Okay? That's the very first thing. Be thankful that, now if it is a relative, you can use the next 2 steps, but you can be thankful. And you can even go a step further, especially if it's like your father-in-law. Be thankful that's not your husband. Okay, so do whatever you have to do to be grateful that this person is not this other person in your life. That makes sense? Okay, so that's the first thing. And again, just like I talked about in yesterday's podcast, going with gratitude. Okay, the next step. They are in a bad mood for a reason. Nobody knows what that reason is. They may not know. It doesn't matter. Do not speculate like you think you know what it is. It could be that they're going through a hardship in their life. It could be that they just grew up that way. It could be, who knows? And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they're complaining about, because it could be sunny and 72 and they would complain about the weather outside. Okay? They're just negative. They're negative. They're a bully. They're mean. They're a jerk, whatever their reason. It doesn't matter. What I want you to do is I want you to come from a higher place of love. Now, it might be the hardest thing for you to do, but I promise you, you will have the same or similar results as Amy and her coworker did. That just all of a sudden that person leaves, okay? But it is your job to take care of your vibration. And you can't do that if you're getting sucked in to what they're doing, okay? So you have to come in strong. This is your energetic defense. Okay, so be happy that they're not your relative. The next is they're crabby for a reason, they're negative, they're a bully for a reason, whatever, it doesn't matter. The next is, and this is still the same step, is to send them love, send them healing. It'll be the hardest thing you do, but I'm telling you, it will work. I have seen it, I have been a part of it, I have worked with it, I have changed relationships like overnight. And I say, you know what, for this person, it could be a cashier that is just crabby. And they're just not being nice. They're throwing your stuff around. And I engage with them as best as I can, try to raise their vibration. And I might say something like, did I do something to you? I appreciate you not taking out on my groceries, but listen, I hope you have a better day, or, hey, how's it going? Has it been really busy today? Are you okay? Or are you going through some hard times right now? I mean, that's just me because it's what I do. But if I can help them, then my job has been served, right? I have done what my job was to do, is to raise this person's vibration, to help them to look at things a little differently. Maybe they just had a really crabby customer that just came through. We have no idea. Send them love, send them healing. You don't have to say it out loud. I just kind of do a little hand gesture that kind of looks like I'm like, kind of brushing something off of the table or something, a very small hand gesture. And I just kind of, I send you love, I send you healing from this ailment. I don't say it out loud. I don't say it to them. I don't say it in a sarcastic tone. I just kind of direct healthy, healing, love energy towards that person. Okay. The third thing is that I raise my own numbers regarding that person. So it's like I go out there guarded. I protect myself and my energy and my vibrational frequency. And if I don't think of that, then I fall prey to the energy that's out in the world. Because if I don't go in and say, okay, I'm an 8 right now, I'm going to stay an 8. I love what I'm doing. I'm excited about my life. I'm excited about whatever I got to do or say to keep my energy there. I'm protecting myself as I go into this work environment where I know that everybody's standing around the water cooler complaining about the pay, the insurance, the hours, the pandemic, the unemployment, whatever they're complaining about. And I'm going to keep my vibration high. It is my intention. And so I go out there and I do that. And I just go and I get my coffee and I get my donut and I walk and they're all bitching about the weather and they're all crabbing about the hours or the boss or whatever. And I'm just like, good morning, you guys. Did you guys have a good weekend? And they're like, bleh, 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 right? And I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to get some coffee and I'm just going to be on my way, right? I hope you guys have a great day. And off I go. And in the meantime, I'm sending out higher vibrational energy in that space. It is my intention to raise it. I walk in, I can sense it. Like I can walk in and sense, they don't even have to say anything. I could walk in and be like, oh yeah, somebody was just ranting about something because the energy in here is like a 3. And I walk in, I'm like, good morning. I use their names. I make eye contact. I'm like, how is everybody? Did you guys have a good weekend? Hey, so-and-so, how's your ankle? I remember you just rolled your ankle when you were at the beach. How are you doing? Are you getting better? Is it getting better? She starts complaining. I'm like, listen, I send you some healing so you can really heal that ankle, because that'd be really tough, but I know you can do it. Rolled ankles really heal. You can heal quickly, whatever I say. And then off I go, right? I do in the part, I slip into kind of a coaching role too, sometimes when someone's complaining, and I'm like, well, what are you grateful? Like, do you like working here? What do you like about this job? What do you like about the boss? What do you like about today? What do you like about, what are you driving? Do you like your car? Where do you live? Do you like your house? And just trying to completely interrupt their complaining session. Now, you don't have to do that. That's just what I do. If you feel comfortable doing that, shoot, do it. But my job is to go in there and raise the vibration. Ask questions, deter them from their complaining, ask different questions, ask questions about them. What'd you do this weekend? Did you guys go snowmobiling? Was it awesome snow? No, the snow was crappy. Oh, but was the weather nice? Because it wasn't very cold. Like even though it was 32, the wind wasn't blowing. It felt kind of cool out. Like cool as in good, not cool as in cold. Anyway, so my job is to keep my vibration up. Then in my job is to send higher vibrational frequencies into that room. It's a 2, I want to raise it to a 3. So I'm going to do it by doing this. I'm going to share some good information. I'm going to try to redirect. And remember, the only thing they can do is they can come up to where you're at. They can start to slowly come up to where you're at. They can bring you down or they can leave. Those are the only 3 things that can happen. And if they're not bringing you down and they're not coming up, eventually they're going to leave. You're going to leave and they're going to leave and you're going to have a neutral interaction with them. But if somebody is bugging you at work, they're picking on you, they're a jerk, they're a bully, that's what you can do. Be thankful that they're not your relative or you're not married to them and they're not being a bully to you like 24/7 and really hurting you. They're crabby for a reason and you send them love and healing. And then the other is raising your own numbers. And the number scale works so great because it's such an easy scale. What's my number right now? And you'll get a number. I mean, I ask that like right now I'm an 8. I'm a solid 8. I'm down here, I'm in the office. I got my podcast hat on. I'm totally like talking with you. Because if you're working with somebody who's negative, if you're working with somebody who's just doesn't really bring the numbers up, like they kind of like drain your energy, send them love, send them healing, help bring their numbers up. It is a solid tool to use. And when you're dealing with other people, who isn't, you're working with people, you live with people, you You have kids, you have husbands, you have coworkers, you have a staff, you have a boss. Sometimes, somewhere in there, there's Krabby Patty going on, and you're like, dude, if this one person could just quit. Okay, but listen, if that one person quits, if you're not aware and you don't have the intention of what the energy is like, another person is going to fill that role. Because listen to this. I work at this space and my boss is a jerk and I'm doing this hard work and he hates me and he fires me. And I go get another job. And it's only going to be a matter of a few months. And all of a sudden, my boss hates me. I'm doing all this work. I'm about to get fired, right? That's because you didn't clean up your energy before you went from one job to the next. How about relationships? I'm dating this guy. He's all great. Or I'm dating this girl, whatever, right? I'm dating this person and they're all great. And then they suck. They're cheating on me. He's a jerk. He's not committed to me. He's not nice to me, whatever. You break up. And then, a month later, you're with somebody else who's doing the exact same thing. Why is that? Because you didn't clean up your energy. You didn't change your intention about what it is that you want in a relationship. You didn't put it out there. The universe says, okay, you're complaining about cheating on, you're complaining about he's not nice to you, you're complaining about he's not committed to you. Okay, I'll send you something else of the same thing. That's like going to your favorite restaurant and saying, send me a steak, but listen, I want you to burn it. And I want you to put too much salt on my French fries. And then when it comes back, you're just like, oh my God, it's burnt and there's too many French fries. Send it back. I want you to bring me a steak that's burnt with too much salt on the fries. And the waitress is like, okay. Well, that's the universe. Be clear about what you want. Start setting intention. Start playing with your vibration. Start sending, okay, what number am I at? How do I get to be a 5? It is your responsibility to keep track of, to start to put some energy into. And I challenge you, but I challenge you in a good way, and I encourage you to start to play with this a little bit and start to see what unfolds for you. And then come over to the Jen Mack Lady of the Mind Facebook group and share it with us. Tell us what successes you've had. What has been happening over there? What has been happening in your work? What's happening in your life, in your home, with your bank account, with your health? And just be like, it's changing. It's changing. Like, you'll be able to watch your life unfold before your eyes. And it will be amazing. But now you have to take charge of your energy. It is up to you to do it. You're the center of the universe, of your universe and your experience. So it's up to you to start controlling your energy and use that number scale because it's the simplest form to do it. And ask yourself those questions. What's it going to take for me to go up one notch? And then do that. Thanks for listening, and if you liked this episode, please take the time to like and share. Also, please visit me on my other social media pages. I'm on Instagram, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I'm on Facebook, where we have this community titled Life Mastery Decoded, and it's a community of women and women entrepreneurs where we come together to support one another in sharing our successes and struggles. You can also check out my YouTube channel, where I share my teachings and my personal journey, and it's simply titled Jen Mack, Jenmac. Have a great day, and I hope to hear from you.